We need it. And you're all here, and we're all here. And it started from suffering, and then it moved into a possibility, being a possibility, and creating that possibility. So I just want to first welcome everyone to our Pacific Northwest meditation community. And we're very honored to be able to create a new Dharma door for everyone to come and practice together, sharing in this intention that we practice, we study and practice together for the benefit of all beings. And we recognize the suffering caused by biases, prejudices, systems of power, privilege, and oppression based on our identities of race, sex, class, age, ethnicity, religion, national origin, ability, sexual orientation, and gender identity or expression, and the many intersectionalities of these various identities. We aspire to do no harm and to dismantle barriers that cause separation and suffering, recognizing that our liberation is interconnected with the liberation of all. We recognize and acknowledge each of you in all the rich complexities of your identities, including dimensions that Elena mentioned. And we honor each of you in this practice as we are undertaking, and we offer a heartfelt welcome. We strive to be a scent-free space for people with sensitivity, so if you can, please refrain from wearing scents when you come. And there's a garden in the back, out actually to the side here. For those with neurodiversities looking for a quiet space, if there are other ways you can signal for comfort and engagement, please feel support to speak up and let us know. Okay. For the safety of our members and to cultivate a space in which all feel free to share, racist, homophobic, ableist, trans, or non-binary exclusionary language is not condoned in this space. It is our responsibility as a group when we hear something to say something as a calling in to help both protect our members and allow growth, communication, learning, and connection. So when we go into our sharing time, please use your pronouns, introduce using your pronouns. And why do we use pronouns? I'll just go more into this. Out of respect and acknowledgement for those who do not identify with the binary pronouns that were given to them at birth. Pronouns are part of someone's gender expression, and people can have multiple sets of pronouns for themselves, such as using both he, him, his, and they, them, theirs. Pronouns are not preferred, but instead are required for respectful communication. So we invite you to use your pronouns in the spirit of openness. And we introduce ourselves using the pronouns. We prefer say a couple words of how you're feeling physically and emotionally. So I just want to pause there and perhaps have everyone just introduce yourself with your pronouns and what has you be here.
Yeah, that's what we all say.
This is true. My name is Rob, he, him, and hello, testing, testing. Hello. Hello. Okay. Oh my, I'm the guinea pig, I guess. My name is Rob, he, him, and I'm here to deepen my practice, and I can't forget how every single time I gather with a group, it's always something different and unexpected. And I take a lot of joy in those lessons. So thank you.
Hi, I'm excuse me. I'm Beck, she, her. I'm just very happy to be here. I really like to practice in the presence of other people that have interest in the Dharma. So thank you for having this space.
My name's Joshua. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm here to be present on the birthing day of this new Sangha and this new meditation community. Just really, it's been wonderful to know Trina through the process and to just hear how it's coming and to be part of the way in which, it was just kind of a dream not very long ago at all. And with Candle's wonderful help and other supporters, it's manifested in such rapid timing. It's beautiful. It's been beautiful to watch it unfold. And I'm so proud of Trina as somebody who I know very deeply, that this is a very proud moment for you. And I just wanted to share it with you.
I'm Candle. I don't know how close this mic has to be. So see if it works for her. I'm very happy to be here in this room. The question of how do you feel physically and emotionally? Physically, actually, I'm doing really well today, which is really nice because usually I have a lot of back issues. And so this has been a good few days in that arena. Emotionally, I'm very happy to be here. I'm happy we got into this space so we can fit a few more people in. And I'm also really joyous, I think, that this is the Asian American Island Pacific celebration month. And so there are lots of things going on online, and there's a day long at Spirit Rock with two really good teachers. So just acknowledging the AAIP month and the group that I first became familiar with, May We Gather. So if you can remember May We Gather and go online, you can see the last 2 years of the acknowledgements that started the AAIP day that was related to the shootings in Atlanta. But I won't go on about those details because that's only related to the fact that I'm happy about it.
You did. Hello, I'm Chuck. I use he, him pronouns and feeling pretty good today. I had some anxiety, but just walking into this room, I feel the peace and it's a really pleasant feeling. Just happy to be here and looking forward to this experience. The first time I've been part of this group.
I'm Christine. I use she, her pronouns, and I am feeling, I just have been looking forward to this all day. So I guess I'm kind of excited to be here, even though I don't feel like excessive excitement in my body. I feel kind of calm, but and I'm just really seeking Sangha. I think I said that last time, and I'm just really looking for like a space where I can land with that and where I can kind of, deepen my practice but also building community. So.
Hi, my name's Ellen, and my pronouns are she, her, and I'm really excited to be here. I've been looking forward to it all day. I just want to deepen my practice within community, and I'm really, really proud of my dear friend, Trina, for all that you've created in this space. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Scott, he, him, and busy day. And I'm here because it's been a crazy busy day. And I know that just listening to Trina's voice, whatever she says, is going to just calm me down. But feeling a little sad. We have people zooming in. but we can't see them. I see you twice and I see us once. Yeah. Is it possible? I mean, I don't mean to mess up your system here, but I kind of feel like we'd be more connected if we saw the Zoomers. Right. Oh my gosh, there they are. Oh, I feel so much better now. Thank you. Thank you. Yay. Okay, that's all I got.
Jonathan, he, him. I'm here to broaden my practice and gain insight. It's been a wonderful journey so far, and I'm pretty new to the journey. I'm really enjoying it. I see benefits every day. And it's nice to see the group has grown exponentially in just 1 week. I think we're twice as many as last week. Thank you, Trina.
Abby Ross, pronouns they, them. Just delighted to be here. Seeking Sangha, finding Sangha. It's a wonderful trip and a very open door Sangha this is. So I'm very happy to be here.
Hi, I'm Kat, they, them. I'm feeling very moved. I'm feeling very moved to be here. And it's really a special thing that you've created already. And it's very moving to be in a place where I feel like I can be safe in all my identities. And I hear the amount of work you have put into just your opening words just are beautiful. And having done this work for a long time, I know that it's not just something you whip together. It's very thoughtful. And I'm just very grateful to be here. And I'm thrilled to be able to feel safe to seek the Dharma again. So thank you.
My name is Shannon, she, her, and I came with my wife, Kat, to support this Sangha. And I had the privilege of hearing Trina's meditation on YouTube the other day, and it's very touching, very insightful. And so I was looking forward to coming, and it's a very peaceful space. So.
All right, I'll go next. So, yeah, hi everyone. I'm Rachel, calling in from Jacksonville, Florida. As you can imagine, Florida, we don't have a ton of Buddhist centers. So, for several years now, I've been listening to IMC, PIMC. So, had the chance to meet some people in Portland a few years. Me and my partner, we go to Portland every year. We love the city. So have had a wonderful time getting to know some people at PIMC. So looking to sit with you all today and learn more about the Dharma. So thank you.
Hi, everyone. It's so nice to see you. And Trina, thank you for inviting me. And Kat, thank you for inviting me. I'm here because I want to be in a community that is inclusive and conscious and considerate and thoughtful and safe. And I sense that about this Sangha, and I really hope to be with you all in person next week. I wasn't able to come in person today, but I'm really grateful that I get to be here in this capacity. So thanks for having me.
And sorry, my pronouns are she, her. I forgot to mention something.
Rachel, I'm so sorry. I think I might have talked over you. I'm also you, she, her pronouns.
Hi, I'm Kathy. I go by she, her. I'm here because, well, I got an email from Candle and I just want to check things out. And just a lot going on. So this is a good time for me to just stop and meditate and enjoy the Dharma. Thank you.
For those of you who, I think everyone here knows me, but my name is Trina and I go by she, her, and I'm feel really honored to be with you all and humbled to be in this position to share the Dharma with you. It really is the fulfillment of my life to be able to share the Dharma. And so it just brings me joy, great joy. Yeah. And I want to take a moment to also call out and express gratitude for all the other members who have been a big part of the PNW meditation community and for it to exist and come into being. We have been meeting since, I think, the last week of February. That was kind of the beginning of when this started. Yeah, and it's May. So talk about speed, right? And want to first acknowledge Kendall. Thank you for your leadership and all of the many ways you've poured your heart and love and support into this, making this possible. Thank you. Mm. And then also to Abby here, and for Abby's this ongoing, stand to have, DEI be at the core, be the baseline for everything we do. Yeah, thank you for being a stand for that and educating us and guiding us and reflecting to me the things that, I'm still not aware of. So thank you. Yeah. And then to Kat for also just jumping in and, just, yeah. I mean, I'm so happy to have you. You're really a gem. So thank you. Mhm. And then to Rob for your unwavering, commitment, and you're to me like the anchor. Everywhere I go, I see you. You really are that anchor. Mhm. So thank you. Yeah, thank you. And a very good note taker. Yeah, wonderful note taker. You're gonna be the secretary. And then we also have here on Zoom how many miles? Over 2,500 miles away, maybe more. It's Rachel. Thank you, Rachel, for all that you do in the background. Rachel also has been critical. I mean, she's played such a role in building out the structure, the skeleton, the bone of our organization, and just the mastermind of this. And you're just the faith that you have in us and the becoming of this has really, I know for me, it has, gosh, it's been the fire in those moments of doubt. Your faith has been that antidote. So thank you very much. And then we also have a few others, Rita and Anne-Marie and Matthew. They are not present today. Rita will be here maybe in about 30 minutes or so. In case we keep a mask on, we can't see Luna very well. But oh, yeah. Oh, there she is. Luna is always with Kathy. Oh. Luna is a fantastic Dharma meditator anchor. And Rita, I just mentioned Rita, and who Rita is. But Rita, just give you a chance to introduce yourself to the group. My pronoun. I'm gonna read it.
As we have presumed. Hi, I'm Rita Kinney, and my pronoun is we. Stands for me and we. Share what? Why am I here? I can't think of a better place to be. Why wouldn't I be here?
Before you walk, Rita, calling out your name, expressing gratitude and acknowledgement of your presence and your work and having us, come to this day, although the time you've showed up and put in your input and feedback and your belief in us. So thank you. I wanted to start with a chanting, and then we will go into a 30-minute meditation. And today I feel moved to start with the incense offering, even though we won't be lighting any incense. In place of the incense, there is a flameless little candle. And I will invite 3 sounds of the bell. And I will chant the incense offering, and then we will, in the handouts you receive, and for those on Zoom, I'll share it on the screen. We'll chant the 3 refuges. And please make yourself comfortable. Sit in a way that you could really be at ease. In gratitude we offer this incense throughout space and time to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May it be fragrant as earth herself, reflecting careful efforts, wholehearted awareness, and the fruit of understanding slowly ripening. May we and all beings be companions of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May we awaken from forgetfulness and realize our true home. Arahato Sama Sambuddhasa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhasa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhasa. I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. Namo Buddhaya. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and of love. Namo Dhammaya. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community that lives in harmony and awareness. Namo Sanghaya. Dwelling in the refuge of Buddha, I clearly see the path of light and beauty in the world. Dwelling in the refuge of Dharma, I learn to open many doors on the path of transformation. Dwelling in the refuge of Sangha, shining light that supports me, keeping my practice free of obstruction. Taking refuge in the Buddha in myself, I aspire to help all people recognize their own awakened nature, realizing the mind of love. Taking refuge in the Dharma in myself, I aspire to help all people fully master the ways of practice and walk together on the path of liberation. Taking refuge in the Sangha in myself, I aspire to help all people build fourfold communities, to embrace all beings and support their transformation. Please meditation for 30 minutes. Please make yourself comfortable. And whether you choose to sit on a chair, on the floor, or maybe at some point it feels more supportive to lie down or stand, you're welcome to do so. Arriving to that stable posture. Roll to check in. How does the body feel like right now? And how does the breath feel like in this moment? Allowing yourself to soften, trusting in the stability of your body. Trusting in the ground below you, holding you. Letting your feet melt into the ground or whatever part of the body is coming in contact with the floor. Noticing the pressure, the weight, the heaviness. We often hold tension in our body that we are unaware of. And so in this moment, I invite you to get curious and pay attention to where there might be some tightness that could soften. To know that it's safe and secure. To let yourself settle and rest. Giving yourself permission to rest. Giving yourself permission to come home to the body, come home to the present moment. However the body is right now is welcome. And we invite this deep and long breath to soothe and to calm the nervous system. Or breathing in any way that feels most supportive. Notice if there's any micro adjustments that needs to be made to further settle into this posture. Allowing all the energy that's there to be there. Awareness is aware, and awareness allows. Letting whatever comes into the field of awareness to bring you back to the present moment. This might be sounds. This might be sensations in the body or sensations of the breath. This might be feeling the hardness of where the body makes contact with the surface. To practice mindfulness is to practice remembering. Remembering not to indulge in thoughts that will pull us away. Remembering to take delight and to allow ourselves to come in contact with the stillness, the peace, the joy, and the presence. To remember that each moment that we are breathing is a miracle. Breathing in, we know that we are breathing in. Breathing out, we know that we are breathing out. In, out. Receive, release. Receive, release. perhaps you feel called to continue to lengthen and deepen the breath to stabilize the body, which in turn stabilize the mind. Or maybe what this moment calls for is to let go of any effort of breathing and allowing the breath to be natural and subtle. Resting in open awareness, or to bring focused attention to where you feel the breath is most alive in the body. Resting your attention there. in deeply listening to our body and mind. We know how to tend to it. We know what strategy to deploy, what antidote to give the body and mind. Perhaps that may be more loving kindness. Maybe it's more energy. Or maybe it's to rest back, tranquilizing the body and mind. Each moment of awareness is a moment that the heart mind gathers. transpired in those last 30 minutes? What was transmitted or what was transformed? I'd like to just have us shout out maybe a word or two or phrase. What does it feel like here and now in this moment? Next. So, yeah. And for those of you in the chat, if you unmute yourself, everyone in the room, he will hear you, or you can also put in the chat as well. For those of you on Zoom, put in the chat. Nap number 2 of the day. Lucky you. Mhm.
Somebody that realized my thumbs are no longer touching. Thumbs together. I can turn. My hands, arms, shoulders across my chest, up my neck, and I don't barely smile.
So, I want to repeat that for our Zoom friends to hear. The thumbs touching, and then it sent a wave, a current through his body, and then out came a smile. Alignment and connection. So now we move into 10 minutes of movement, mindful movement, and you're welcome to take the opportunity to use the restroom. It's right outside this door. And the practice of mindful movement is really valuable in that it helps us to learn how to take mindfulness that is in the stillness and to carry that stillness so that while we're in movement, we can still experience the stillness. So I invite you to see if you can touch into that stillness even while in movement. And so we come to an ending. And give yourself some space. All wired here. Let me see how that feels. And just feeling the weight of the body and where the feet presses against the floor, noticing the pressure in the heels and the soles of the feet. And standing with your feet shoulders width apart, or however it feels comfortable for you. Maybe there's a slight bend in the knees, hands just hanging off to the side. Finding rest while standing. And noticing the energy in the body and where you might feel the muscles at work to support this posture. Notice the quality of the breath. And you touch into the stillness that is there while standing. While the body might still be swaying a bit, but there's a quality of stillness. Now I invite you to tilt your head to the left, bringing your left ear to the left shoulder. And moving with intentionality. And going as far as you can, but not overexerting yourself. Feeling the stretch on the right side of the neck. Staying in touch with the breath. Notice what sensations are present. And at any time, you can come out of this. And then you can come back to neutral at any time. And now bringing your head back up to center. And tilting the head to the right side. Bringing the right ear to the right shoulder. Notice any way in which we tense up. Is there a possibility to soften, to trust and allow, letting the shoulders drop. And then bringing the head back to center and making our way to the left side again. See if it's possible to move at a slower pace so you can feel all the subtle sensations, all the tiny muscles working together to make this movement possible. And maybe adding your arm to give yourself some additional support if that feels good. And then whenever you're ready, tilting your head to the right, going at your own pace. Be aware of the breath. Be aware of the sensations in the body, in the neck and shoulders. And whenever you're ready, coming back to center. And now we're going to turn our head to the left. So the chin moving towards the left shoulder. And maybe you stop right at the shoulder, or maybe move a little further back, but getting curious about what feels most supportive, what's accessible today. What is awareness aware of? And then coming back to center. And then turning the head to the right shoulder. Maybe you notice pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Welcome all sensations. Coming back to center. And turning to the left. Turning to the right. And remember, there's no need to hurry. Each moment already arriving. And then one more time. And then when you're ready, coming back to center. Back to standing. And bow. I'd like to invite everybody to move a little closer here, as if you're all in front row with me. We can. Yeah. Like a circle. Nice. Like you. And did you need help moving that camera over to the center, to the circle?
That's about it because of the mice. We should off of that. How does it look for you?
I could see a few people. What if you moved up here and then we could move that next to Joshua? The whole thing, yeah. That way everyone here in the room can see our Zoom friends. Yeah. Perfect. Do you want to sit close to me? I don't want to. In your way. You're not in my way. You're closer. I have to go see. Yeah, I want to be able to reach out for you. I had a really good idea for a talk while we were meditating, but I forgot. So. So maybe it'll come back. In the meanwhile, I'll revert to the 5 pages that I have to.
Put down in just the words.
And a combination of 2 different talks. See everyone on Zoom. They're stuck. Yeah. They're stuck. I wanted to share on this topic that is to me like 2 sides of a coin. So on the one side is awakening, and on the other side is suffering, right? So to awaken, we free ourselves from suffering. And what does awakening mean? So freedom is the one who is awake, and Bud means to awaken, to know, to wake up, to recover consciousness after a swoon, to observe, heed, and attend to. And the word Bodhi, Bodhi, in Sanskrit means perfect knowledge and coming to an understanding. And it's this awakening from the slumber that's inflicted upon the mind by the defilements, the impurities. And this perfect knowledge is another way to say knowledge is vidya. And the opposite side of vidya is avidya, which means ignorance. And ignorance here doesn't mean lack of knowledge. But what it actually means, because if you look up in the dictionary, ignorance means lack of knowledge. But in Buddhism, ignorance here means to misunderstand the nature of reality. And it's a deep-seated misperception of what is real. And it's in this removal of ignorance that leads us to overcoming suffering. And in Vietnamese, the word ignorance is vô minh. And minh means this brilliance, this illumination. And vô is no or not. So vô minh or ignorance means that we are in the dark. And ignorance is like one who walks around with a blindfold and they're not aware that they have a blindfold on. And in some other words, we can say that it's, having a blind spot. And how can one come to know what one doesn't know that one doesn't know? How do we remove our ignorance in order to be free from suffering? And really, the place to look at is to look from the place of our suffering, because that's the only angle we have. We can't try to figure out how to know more, because it's still coming from that place of not knowing. So to awaken, we are always coming from the place of examining our suffering and examining the suffering around us. And how do we detect this? How do we detect ignorance? We detect it by noticing anywhere in our life where we experience suffering from a very major coarse level all the way down to the subtle, minute level. And that could be attention, that could be a reaction to something, a response to something. It could crop up in a conversation or while we're sitting on the cushion. This thought takes us out of the present moment. That restlessness, that in itself is suffering. And there's something there we can unpack about that. What is it about this that's causing me to be pulled away from awakening? Because awakening is that presence, that clear seeing. I thought this was a really important topic to bring up, because as practitioners, we have a commitment to awaken. We have a commitment to awaken. And inside of that commitment is us always on the lookout for where we are suffering, because that is the place in which we can come to know what we don't know, where our blind spots are. And the suffering that we see in our lives, in our day-to-day, in the matters at hand, all come from that place where there is a sense of I. There's this misconception about the self, and this is the first misconception that is a part of ignorance. And I'll go through and share all three misconceptions. So the first misconception is that we call ignorance is the misconception of self. So we believe that there is an I here, and there is my view. Things should go this way because this is my angle of seeing it. And there's a self-interest that arises. And how hard is that to not have self in anything? When we vote, there is self-interest. If I have kids in the school system, I'm gonna vote one way. If I don't have kids and I'm retired, I will vote another way. So there's always a self. I think about divorces and how there's always a self-interest while we want it to go a certain way and thinking that this is going to be better for everyone. But there's never a time when in a divorce, I use that as an example, is one never feels like one has the upper hand. It's always the other party. I think about that time when I went through a divorce too. And of course, it's usually the person who's the self always feel like it's not fair, right? I didn't get enough, the other person had more and I'm at loss. And so the self-interest and view leads to the fighting, the battling. And when I went through my divorce, I had this realization that while people around me wanted me to fight for what's mine, they wanted me to be upset because there was um, some really bad things that happened that I could be righteous and justified in my anger. But I knew that that wasn't the way. And so even though the other person started the war, I didn't need to fight. There's no war if we don't go out to battle. So if the other party shows up and they're ready to fight, but we won't fight, there can be no war. So we stand in our intention to be peaceful, be the peace that we want to see. How can that carry out in our speaking, in our listening? And rather than to hold a position of, I'm right as we may be, as valid as we may be about our angle of seeing, or that we've been hurt or harmed. I don't deserve this. I deserve this. There's no peace in being righteous. And there's more suffering and there is war when we identify and strengthen that sense of self. So this nature of separation, this idea of suffering, of separation, always has this self-interest in it. And where there is this sense of self, we suffer because we do not see things clearly. That there's an I that is attached to being right or wanting things a certain way. And in so we are unknowingly perpetuating our own suffering. So that first misconception of ignorance is believing that there's a separate sense of self. And so how do we apply this to some of our issues today? For example, or how can we see the Dharma when we see, let's say, a person who is in control or in power, unwilling to let go of control and power. We can see the suffering that they've caused to those around them. And that they too are suffering from this clinging. It's time to let go, but they continue to cling, and we can hear some spiritual or some political leaders in that as well. And this is the Dharma at play. And how do we respond? How do we engage in these moments? I think the very first thing the Buddha would say is to see the Dharma, awaken to the Dharma that's happening in this moment. Recognizing that alone will help us awaken to the truth. The second misconception of ignorance is the misconception about permanence, that things are fixed or constant. So This is one I think we all are guilty of. For example, maybe having a wonderful experience and wanting to hang on to it. I don't want this to end. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's our body being so great today, or the good sleep that we had and wanting that to continue the next night, and it doesn't. Relationships with our kids and parents and friends changing over time. Our finances, our assets, our status, the recognition, even our planet, climate change, and global warming. That it's a part of nature for aging and decaying and death to happen. And so, why do we resist? Why do we fight? Because we forget that this truth exists. We have this misconception about things being permanent. And a part of our commitment to waking up is to see, how am I suffering now? And the Buddha says that the root of suffering comes from our ignorance. So anytime we suffer, we look at it and we get curious about, what is it that I don't know? I don't know right now about this. How am I not seeing things clearly? So that is like our basis of the groundwork that we do, is to continue to look at where we're suffering, because anywhere where we're suffering, that's an opportunity for us to penetrate into that, for the possibility of awakening to happen in that area of our life. So we have some dimensions where we operate from that place of not knowing. And the problem is that the tension arises from when we operate from this place, and then we think as though we know. And this tension point is where there's a rub against how things really are. So the reality and truth goes one way, and our belief and our view goes the other way. So that creates tension. And when we open up to see things clearly, we are flowing with truth. We're flowing with the energy of life, with the law of nature. So tension is the place where we look at, where am I going against the truth? And earlier I spoke about awakening, and one of the new, I really thought about what this means. Awakening is the opposite of oppression, of being pushed down or suppression. So in the absence or in the release of oppression or suppression, awakening is what blossom and blooms. It's the weight being lifted off. So whether we are the one weighing ourselves down or being weighed down by someone or by our circumstances, either one side is doing it unknowingly or the other side is being trapped and held back. So when we have this commitment to waking up, to liberation, to freedom, to arriving at the kingdom of heaven or to that Buddha nature or higher consciousness, we are present to where ignorance can live within our beliefs, our views, our perception, the rigidity that we create, that box that causes the friction, that causes us being weighed down. And until we break through all that discomfort we experience when someone calls us out or when someone points out how we've caused them suffer, that feeling of discomfort normally has us want to move away and back down and resort back into our comfort zone. And when we, through mindfulness, I said mindfulness is remembering, when we remember our commitment, rather than backing down and resorting back to our comfort, we stay curious and we lean into what is it that I don't know? I don't know about this matter. Where could I be seeing things from an angle of fixed view? How is my realm of seeing limited to limiting my worldview and the experience that I'm currently having or up until now? And one habit of mine that I see tend to come up is our tendency to draw conclusions very fast. And drawing conclusions has us stop that curiosity. It stifles the curiosity. And then we miss out on the opportunity to unpack and deconstruct and dig up the defilement, dig up the misperception. We miss out on the opportunity to awaken to what is there on the other side, to have that breakthrough and seeing things newly in a broader context than how we've currently been seeing things. So to carry out this journey of awakening, we bring this beginner's mind, this childlike curiosity to all parts of our human experience, particularly to our suffering, to those parts where we feel, when we feel, whether it's a subtle annoyance, irritation, or to that knots that we feel in our stomach, or that tightness in our hearts. We can start there. We don't need to go any further and read any more books. We can just go into our body and listen and feel around with our mind's eye. And there you find the gold. There you find the knots. And there's where the possibility of awakening begins. And in this message, my invitation for all of us is to, as we move through the world, we can see when we live amongst others when they don't have this commitment of awakening, how it shows up, how suffering can be seen because one is unwilling to confront the discomfort. And one only chooses to live in the space where comfort is. And that is to live a life where we remain in the dark. And that's suffering. And then we can also see in our own life when we remember and recall this commitment we have to awaken, that in those moments that we want to run or hide or avoid or withdraw, that our practice reminds us, it's like the mindfulness family, waking us up and reminding us to stay, to lean in, to get curious, to shine a flashlight into those dark corners and take a second look or a third look and see what else might be there, what else might be hiding in those dark corners that could be revealed. And perhaps this can provide us, even in the midst of our suffering, perhaps some sense of comfort to know that this is the Dharma at play, that this is how it looks like when we are on one side or the other. And indeed, this is the nature of things. And it's not a forfeit, but it's a radical acceptance and a profound understanding, whether we like it or not, that this is the universal law, the Dharma, the truth at play here. When I'm suffering or when I see others suffering, and that commitment to awakening gives rise to a kind of energetic effort for us to have this fuel to keep going, to keep looking, keep mining. And maybe in those moments, we can touch into some joy because we know our path, we have a sense of direction of where we're going, even while it feels heavy and burdensome right now. We know that while we can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, we know that there is light. So whenever you are in the dark, remember and trust that there is light at the end of the tunnel. If you continue to dwell in the Dharma and remember the law of nature is always at play and always in support of your awakening if you simply allow and listen and get curious. So I'd like to almost invite your voices into the space. Anything you would like to reflect or share, or what could be coming up for you. Or maybe this doesn't make any sense at all. And that's welcome too. So
Here comes the money. Think of it as generosity to others. Fine.
I just had the few words. It does make perfect sense. These are universal truths that once exposed, they're undeniable. Their power, the strength that we gain by being open to accept them. Insight.
I had an observation about you're describing the knot, and I was seeing hands working a rope or a string, and too forcefully, and you actually make the knot tighter. And I think with our selves, the knot that we are probably working on is something that instead of fingers, it's really your curiosity and your patience to reveal the cause of that problem. And I think from some of my own experiences, I think just seeing it is enough to either solve it or significantly reduce the impact of that knot. So I just imagined, a gentle, curious mind and patient and learning is kind of what I saw as I was also seeing the hands working on a knot. So thank you for that.
So so as we were walking, my husband and I were walking over here, and I was actually sharing this story on the walk over. So just earlier today, I was shopping, and I was doing the self checkout, and there was someone else who was doing it, but they were very frustrated, and it had like charged them partway through. I don't know exactly what happened. And they were asking for help, and they were having trouble describing what had happened, and then they just became very upset, and then they were just, and lots of workers were trying to help, and they were just like yelling and started to swear. It was just very like they were trying to say like, calm down, you can't swear. And oh yes, I will swear. And it's just really like, very, and I was like just finishing my checking out and left the store, but thinking about it, and I was like, and I just saw so many places where it went wrong, and I was so like, oh gosh, I wish I could have like done something to like help, the situation, just but a lot of it was focused on just like having so much compassion for the workers who were trying to like help. And then I kept working, I kept thinking about it, like I kept coming back to it, and then I suddenly had this feeling of compassion for the guy who was like so upset, because I was like, whoa, that dude is suffering. Like he is suffering. And it didn't feel right, of course, like how he was behaving. But at the same time, like he was in so much pain for some reason. I don't know. So frustrated or not able to like handle it. And it helped me so much to like get to that place, because I had felt like this sort of judgment. I mean, I wasn't trying to like linger there, but I had felt that, and then it like just dissolved, and I just like just had a lot more compassion for everyone who had to be part of the situation. I mean, just because it was just like it's not what you want anyone to have to like experience or whatever. But it really changed it. And I feel like when you were doing your Dharma talk, I was thinking about like, I just need to apply that to myself better. Of course, this was like somebody else, there's a different other people, not me, that I was, but it was a gift to be able to like kind of witness that and then go through that with that curiosity, I think that you were talking about, and get to a place, like a deeper place of compassion. I don't know. So anyway, that came to my mind when you were talking, and I was just talking about it on the walk over. So that's probably why it was right there. That's what I was thinking of.
And inside of that place where we witness our conversions for us, being doing some that traveling stuff. We really something hopeful. It's really not just for compassion, but also for forgiveness, also being there. And
I think it's working. Yeah. I am. When Christine was sharing, it brought up for me something you said too about how a lot of our, well, what we don't know that we don't know, or however you said that, is about we can draw conclusions. We predetermine conclusions. And one of the places that shows up for me a lot is in driving. Like somebody cuts me off or rushes by me and I've got a judgment about, but I don't know what's going on in that person's life, right? And it may not be like this man at the checkout who is obviously suffering. Maybe they're just, you know, unaware as they're driving and cutting me off or not using their turn signal or creating havoc on the road or rubbernecking or, who knows? It's one of many little irritants that I can find on the road. And so that's a place for me to really work my Dharma and to know that I don't know what's happening in somebody else's life and why they're driving 90 miles an hour and swishing past me. Who knows what's going on, right? And so I was grateful that at a yoga event a week ago, they handed out as like a little tchotchke, a little temple bell that they had put a little flag on. And I've hung the temple bell from my rearview mirror. And so it just rings every once in a while and brings me back to like, oh yeah, ding, 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 ding. Oh yeah. It's just a wonderful little like reminder to be in my practice as I'm driving, right? So, those little reminders and keep coming back to the breath or the pressure of the butt in the seat to remember, why am I here and how much I don't know about what I don't know, And I guess the other thing is that in the quest for certainty and, uncertainty is really our only fear, and it encompasses a whole lot of things. Remaining humble, I guess, because of somebody who you were talking about how things change. And I was thinking, yeah, declining intellect. Geez Louise, that's really been a big one for me to swallow because I could vacuum up 6 books at a time. And now that's not part of my reality right now. Right. And so I knowing things was really important to me, but it's like, the the scope of reality is like the entire universe, or the entire, like if you were to look at a telescopic image of the entire universe. But what I see is like this one little spot. And oh yeah, those stars represent the entirety of everything. Not really. If I can just remember that and come back to the fact that I only know what's in my perceptual field at any given time, and the wholeness of all the intelligence and what's operating out there is so much bigger, then that just helps keep me there. Or somebody said once a metaphor about knowledge is the island, and what you don't know is the circumference or the perimeter of the island, the shore. So as your knowledge grows, what you don't know gets 3.1415 times. It grows at that rate. I guess, just to throw that out there, right? So those are areas where I get to come back, and even in a conversation where I feel a charge or I think I know what somebody's about, what I need to do is remain curious and ask questions. Did you intend, or was this, and am I hearing this correctly? You know, and I kind of stink at it a lot of times, right? Especially when I feel like I'm not getting what I want in a conversation. I can go immediately to knowing what the other person's about, knowing that I'm right, and you know, it doesn't go the way that I would really like it to go, which is an exchange. So thanks.
Um, what's been on my mind a lot the last month or so is I'm helping a friend, or being with a friend who's dying. And when I first started visiting her, she was really angry because she didn't feel like her kids and her grandkids were there enough for her. And I would leave visiting her and feel like this is a toxic energy. And then I would go home and I would go back and I would go back. And each time I went back, she got weaker and weaker, less able to talk. And I saw her visibly, she's still in this process, but letting go of a lot, letting go of everything, letting go of everything. And now I just hold her hand as she struggles to breathe. And we just talk about how safe death is. And all of that other stuff just doesn't matter anymore. And I am deeply, it's interesting. I feel like I've entered the rabbit hole, you know, Alice in Wonderland's rabbit hole. And in a way, it's a very terrifyingly free feeling. So it's a great gift to sit with this energy and know that that's all there is of us, that we too are on this journey. So it's been very humbling and puts everything in perspective in terms of right or wrong. Doesn't matter.
Put it on time. So I'm gonna pass.
Do you want to see if anybody online wants to say a few things? But we are running out of time, and I wanted to mention something about Donna, but I'd like to hear whether Kathy or Noelle or Rachel want to say something.
Yeah, I really loved hearing Trina your talk. I think it's very timely and really relevant to everything we do, and everyone sharing here really resonates with me too. Like just the opposing views that you can see in the world. It's like some people shared comments here on like it happens day to day, like when you go to the grocery store, when you drive. Um, it also happens just with people who just naturally just don't agree with you and stuff, but it also happens with people you love. Like it always makes me laugh. Like my partner Liz and I, we always have like different views on like how do we decorate the house, and it's like it's interesting because Trina, you say like this is the Dharma, like that's so true, like all this, the Buddhist teachings is relevant in every moment of our lives, even with conflict or like when you're talking with your loved ones on stuff. So Joshua, you said something about being curious and how that helps you. Like, that's something that I've noticed too, as I've learned more about the Dharma. Like, I almost feel like a switch in my head go off, like a light bulb go off when I become judgmental because I have a view on like how we decorate the house, something petty like that. I feel something switch in my head when I'm like, maybe I should be curious about this instead. Um, and yeah, it's just interesting. And then Rob, you sent me a really good book recommendation recently. Rewind, The Brain That Rewires Itself. I think he just left the room, but I'll let him know later. Like it's really interesting how Dharma changes the way we act and then almost does rewire our brain in a way. And maybe that helps us become better people in the world. So I really just loved everyone's sharing today, and Trina, your talk. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
So I just want to thank everybody for being here. I think we probably should wrap it up because our commitment in this room is to be out by 6:30. And anyway, it takes us a little bit longer to set up, and we'll try to be a little more timely as we get into the swing of it. But I do want to mention, as some of you saw in the email that I sent out, and as we've been growing, and so many of us have been putting our heart energy into this, and that the teachings are from the generosity of the teachers and for generations since the Buddha, the sharing of the teachings has reciprocity from the community members. And so we have grown from the upstairs room to this room, and our rent has tripled. And so what I would like to suggest is that we ourselves sort of find within our hearts a way to just find the right amount that works for you, whether you would like to have it just be a one-time donation or a monthly way of contributing. I had a certain amount that I would donate every month to pay for the rent. And so now I need 3 more people to match the same amount that I was paying, which is $50 a month, so that we can really continue having this room. So that's my one ask is, and we'll, on the door over there is the Venmo code for the donations at this time to be in Trina's Venmo account. And we have opened up a bank account. We don't yet have Zelle as a direct deposit, but we can keep funds separate. So you don't have to worry. So if you give money to the Venmo account and make a note that it's for PNW, is that what it is? Pacific Northwest. There we go. Yeah. PNW MC, meditation community. You can just write, meditation community, and then we'll know that that's where it's going. So it's just the generosity of the teachers and the generosity of ourselves. And it's gone on for 2,600 years, and it'll keep going way after our time. And I just really know that the benefit that we get, no matter how we volunteer or give ourselves financially, it spreads in all of our circles of friends and family. And If I can find that one quote that I love, I can't always directly find it, but let's see how quickly I can. Well, I guess that one's my practical note, so it's not in my practical note. No, I can't find what it is I'm looking for, so. I like this quote from Sharon Salzberg. She says, "Giving up and giving in, just plain giving, that's the truly transformative experience. Generosity opens our hearts, frees us from attachment, and is the basis of all good qualities. It's the foundation of the Buddhist path." And in an act of giving, we're aligning ourselves with certain values, and we develop love and compassion, sympathetic joy and equanimity, and we let go of grasping and aversion and delusion. In that single act of giving is the act of letting go. And that's why the Buddha said that if we knew, as he did, the power of giving, we wouldn't let a single meal pass without sharing something. We can even do it mentally if we don't actually hand something over to the person sitting next to us. We can, create spaciousness all of the time over and over again. And that's what giving is all about, creating spaciousness and letting go and honoring the teachings and each other. And I really appreciate what we're developing. So that's all I need to say.
Couple more announcements. This Tuesday, every first Tuesday, we gather together on Zoom to practice the precepts. And this is precepts, 5 precepts with the Plum Village, with Thai's version of it is modern day version. So the 5 mindfulness trainings. And I will bring in another new version of the 5 precepts, another really wonderful one. So I hope you will come join me as we practice and reflect the precepts, the 5 mindfulness training, as that is one of the pillars for Sangha. So 16, yeah. And so on this path we have Sila, which are the precepts of 5 mindfulness training. Samadhi, which is the practice of concentration. And then third is prajna, the practice of wisdom. So equally as important is examining our conduct and making sure that we are abiding by the law of nature, right? So essentially that's what the precepts are, guidance, the law of nature. And then we look at how are we moving in accordance or against the law of nature, and you get a chance to share that. So you need the link. You can also send me an email at mindfulnesswithtrina@gmail. And then the other one is May 16th. I'm starting a Buddhist studies class. There'll be a 8-week long course with action and completion. And we are looking at various sutras translated by a few different Buddhist masters. I've sent an email, but I'll send it again during the week as a reminder. Yeah. And it's a wonderful collection. So we're looking at a few different sutras. That's the original, the first teachings of the Buddha, the Anapanasati, mindfulness of the breath, the 4 developments of mindfulness, the sutra to live a happy life, the sutra of how to live alone, and a few other ones. So I hope you will join me, and we have a really wonderful group that's coming together. And so there's still time if you'd like to join in. It's going to be on Zoom. Yeah, on Zoom, and we meet Thursday at 7. every, so 3 Thursday a month, all the way up to July, to the end of July. Yeah. Anything for you, Kendall? All the Thursdays, yeah. Okay.
Every day is a busy day.
Yeah.
But if you want to do a day long retreat on June 1st, I'm doing one at Portland Insight Meditation Center. I don't know if Doug and Kathy are still on there, but June 1st, day long from 10 to 4 at PIMC. Oh, hey, the topic's always the same thing. I'll just give it a different title. The title this time is something about the non-reactive mind. It'll be about impermanence and equanimity.
It always is.
Yeah.
Kathy and I try to make up this joke. It's hilarious.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Next time. It's a funny act.
We'll bring in some.
And next week, I think if we can get together and bring something to share, we can go into the kitchen and have tea. And I'm going to be offering the Dharma next week. I'll try to sort of wrap it up by 20 after 6 so we can be out of the room and move over to the kitchen and share some tea. And last week, Trina brought all kinds of great stuff, and I had to zoom out of here, and I didn't get to eat half of it. So, but I'm not the cook that she is, so I'm asking you to bring something. Besides, I like the act of sharing. Do you want to end with the blessing sharing of the, or which one is it that's on the back of this? Ah, well.
I might actually close with a song.
Okay.
This would be waking up for a late start. Yes, I like to share the first one with the fourth stanza of I have arrived. So I'll sing it once, and if you know it, you can join me. And then we'll sing it again together. We have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. I am solid. I am free. I am solid. I am free. In the ultimate I dwell. In the ultimate I dwell. Sing it again. I have arrived. I am whole. In the here and in the now. I have arrived. I am whole. In the here and in the now. I am solid. I am free. I am solid. I am free. In the ultimate I dwell. In the ultimate I dwell. friends for joining us in Sangha.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good to have everybody.
Yeah.
And I know we'll have a few more next week. At least 2 more told me they were coming.
Rachel, good to see you.